This is ChestertonRadio.com.
The Kraft Foods Company presents The Great Gildersleeve. It's The Great Gildersleeve, starring Harold Peary, brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of Parquet margarine and a complete line of famous quality food products. Thanksgiving weekend. Each year at this season, the good citizens of Summerfield make a pilgrimage of some 30 miles to witness the annual football classic between State University and the Aggies. And in the whole of Summerfield, there is no one more determined to go this year than Gildersleeve's nephew, Leroy. For weeks, he has been hammering away at it.
Hey, Unc, if I do the dishes tonight, can I go home? Can I? How about it? Can I? No.
No, Marjorie.
Nobody asked you.
Uncle Mort, if he goes to that game, I shall just die.
Oh, why?
Because Marshall's coming home for the weekend, and he's taking me. And all Leroy wants to do is spy on us.
Boy, that's a cheap thrill. You think I'd be looking at you when I can be watching a football game?
Uncle Mort, don't let him go. You can't. You simply can't.
Now, my dear, I think that's for me to decide.
That's telling her.
I don't see why Leroy hasn't just as good a right to go to the game as you.
You hear that?
After all, I think you might consider his side of it, too.
Yeah, how about considering my side of it?
You stay out of this.
But, Uncle Mort, this is my only weekend with Marshall since he went away to school. We want to be alone.
Alone? They go to a football game to be alone.
Now, Leroy.
I suppose you'd like everybody else in the stadium to get up and leave. 20,000 people.
Leroy.
I rest my case.
Well, what about it, Uncle Mort?
I shall think it over.
Oh, say yes, please. I'll pay you if you will. I'll give you all the money I've got in my bank.
I'm not subject to bribery, my boy.
Well, I'll do anything you say. Anything at all. How about it?
I told you I shall think it over.
Well, for cat's sake, how long do you have to think?
There are two sides to this question, my boy, as there are to most questions. Now, from Marjorie's point of view, I can see why she wouldn't want to have you tagging along.
Thank goodness.
From your point of view, Leroy, I can see that this game means a great deal to you.
More than anything in the world, I guess. Except you, Unc.
Yes. Well, the only thing I can see to do about it...
Yeah?
I hate to say this, but the only thing I can see to do about it is to take you myself.
You mean you?
Yes, my boy. Much as I dread it, I'll take you to the football game.
Yay! You hear that, Marge? Hail to the victors valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes.
Good evening, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, good evening, Bertie.
Is that you, Unc?
Yes, it's me.
Hey, did you get them? Did you get the football tickets? I was a good boy today, Unc. I cleaned up a whole room, even my closet. Did you get good seats? Where are we sitting? Unc, you didn't forget them.
No, Leroy, I didn't forget them, but I'm afraid I have bad news for you just the same. They're completely sold out.
Oh, that's a big jib.
I know, my boy. I know exactly how you feel, but we have to learn to take these little disappointments and make the best of them, don't we?
Gosh, if you didn't have to think it over so long, if you'd gone and got on the ball.
I did the best I could. After all, I'm just as disappointed as you are. It means that I can't go to the game either.
Ha! You didn't want to go in the first place.
That's not true, Leroy. I wanted to go very much.
Yeah.
But there's no use crying over spilt milk, is there? There'll be other games. Some other time, perhaps, eh? Leroy? I want you to believe that I tried, my boy. Why, I even asked Judge Hooker to use his influence. Not that I'd give 2 cents for all the influence he's got.
I should have known. I'd never get there. This is just a terrible day, that's all. It's been a terrible day right from the start. Friday's always a terrible day.
Leroy, honey, what's the matter?
Nothing.
Oh, now, don't do that.
Let's not give up hope, my boy. After all, there's still Judge Hooker.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably right.
Every time you say you'll take me to a football game, this is what happens.
Leroy, this is the first time I've ever offered to take you to a football game.
Well, it happened, didn't it? I should have known.
Now, Leroy, you're just tired. Why don't you go up and get ready for bed and let Bertie bring your supper to you up there?
I don't want any supper.
Well, later maybe you will. You run along and I'll be up. I got turkey croquettes for supper.
With mashed potatoes?
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
Okay.
Doorbell, I'll get it.
No, I'll get it, Bertie. Hooker, come in, Judge.
I can't stop, Gildy. I just came by.
Leela, I didn't see you standing back there. Come on in, it's cold.
Well, just for a minute.
We're on our way to dinner. I'm taking Leela to a movie afterward.
Oh, so that's why she was busy tonight. You didn't tell me you were going out tonight with the judge, Leela?
I don't tell everything I know.
I sort of cut you out there, didn't I, Gildy?
Old goat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Careful, my dear, careful. Come in.
Hello, Marjorie. Hello, Mrs. Ransom. I hope I didn't hurt you. Oh, good evening, Judge.
Marjorie,
Oh, don't you look pretty?
Thank you.
such pink cheeks.
And natural, too. I'll bet you're excited that Marshal Bullard's home.
Oh, he's been home for 2 days. Unky, is it all right if we go skating after supper?
After supper?
It's perfectly safe. There's a big moon out.
I don't know that makes it safe.
Skating in the moonlight. How I'd love to be out there with y'all.
Well, why don't we? We could all make
Oh, wait a minute now. Leela and I have a date.
Oh, yes, that. Well, how about tomorrow, then?
But tomorrow's Saturday, Uncle Mort. Marshall and I are going to the game.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell him it's all right about going skating tonight, then.
Well, now, wait a minute. I did... Well, all right.
Thanks, Unky. You're a dear.
Yes, yes.
Oh, to be 16 again instead of pushing 30. Football games, skating in the moonlight. I used to love football games. We used to drive up to Atlanta when Georgia played, Georgia Tech. It was such fun. The girls looked all so pretty and the men were all so handsome.
Yeah.
There'd be parties at all the fraternity houses after the game, and a dance at the big hotel there in the evening, and driving back by moonlight.
Come on, Leela. I think it's time we were getting along.
Oh, yes, I suppose it is.
Oh, that reminds me, Gildy. I almost forgot what I stopped here for. I got you that pair of football tickets you asked for.
You got them?
Just leave it to old Judge Hooker. There they are.
Well, that's fine. Are they any good?
Are they any good? Why, they're right smack on the goal line.
I don't know whether to thank you or not. But thanks anyway.
Oh, Throckmorton, don't tell me you got tickets for tomorrow's game.
Huh?
And never even told me about it. Aren't you wonderful?
I might point out it was I who got the tickets.
Oh, but it's the thought that counts.
Yes, but Leela, you...
Oh, I think surprises are such fun, don't you? Now, here I wasn't looking forward to a thing tomorrow except washing my hair. And now, all of a sudden, everything's wonderful.
But, Leela,
Imagine me carrying on about how I love football games and all the time you knew. Throckmorton, you devil, you.
Leela, you don't understand.
Don't understand what?
Well, I wasn't exactly planning to,
You mean you were planning to take some other girl?
No, of course not. Gosh, I'd rather take you than anybody. I would have asked you too, Leela, only I didn't think of it till yesterday, and I suppose by this time you'd... Well, the last time I saw you, you bawled me out for always inviting me places at the last minute.
Throckmorton, honey, it's time you learn never to pay a single bit of attention to anything I say. Ever.
Leela, I don't like to hurry you, but it's time that we were getting downtown.
Oh, yes, we must be going.
Yeah, but wait.
We've got to be going, Gildy. I have a reservation for dinner.
You don't need a reservation at Joe's place.
We're not going to Joe's place. Come on, Leela. For heaven's sake, let's get started.
But we haven't settled this.
Oh, well, don't worry. I'll call you first thing in the morning about the plans and all. Good night, and I think you're a liar.
What am I going to tell her when she calls?
Gildersleeve.
Good morning, Bertie. Leroy,
Hi.
I trust you slept well last night.
you can see that I didn't.
You do look a little so-so. Well, you just sit down and I'll bring you a nice...
Phone.
I'll get it.
Where's your sister, Leroy?
She ate her breakfast and scrammed.
I'm coming.
You mean they've started for the football game already?
I suppose so. Lucky bums.
Mr. Gildersleeve's residence.
I'm afraid I know what this is.
Oh, yes, Miss Ransom, he is. It's Miss Ransom, Mr. Gildersleeve, about the game.
Huh?
Ask her if she could hold the wire a minute, Bertie.
He said, could you hold the wire a minute, please? He'll be right here.
Leroy, I want to have a talk with you, my boy.
Okay, shoot.
Swallow that toast and listen. My boy, if by any chance I should be able to get tickets for the game today, mind you, I don't say I can, but if by any chance I should,
Yeah?
and if it turned out that it wouldn't be convenient for me to take you...
What? You promised.
I know, and I'd make it up to you, Leroy, some way. I don't like breaking promises, but if you'd let me off just this once, how about it?
I don't know.
Leroy, please, just this once.
I'd have to think it over.
I'll make it up to you, my boy. I'll do anything you say. How about it?
How you do, Miss Ransom? Oh, just fine. You'll be right here. Mr. Gildersleeve, she's waiting.
Leroy, stop eating that toast and answer me. I'm sorry, my boy, but I told you I'll do anything if you let me off.
Well, it'll be a pretty good game. I'd sure like to see it.
Anything, Leroy, anything at all.
Anything?
Anything.
Okay.
You'll never regret this, my boy. You'll never regret it. I only hope I won't.
Hello, Piggy. Leroy, the kid himself. Boy, oh boy, Pig, have I got Unc where I want him. What a character. You know what he did? He told me
The Great Gildersleeve will be back in just a moment. After a friendly game of bridge the other night, we all dropped into the kitchen to kibitz a bit while Mrs. Lang was preparing some sandwiches. And as she was spreading the bread with parquet, one of the guests said to me,
So that's the parquet margarine I hear you talking about, John, on the Gildersleeve show.
"That's the genuine article, the one and only parquet margarine."
Well, if it's as good as you say it is,
Well, the best way to find out is to taste it right now. Ah, here we are. The first sandwiches are ready.
Thank you.
Now, there's flavor for you. Flavor that's fresh and sweet. Am I right?
It's delicious.
It's the fine, wholesome farm products that make parquet taste so good. And you know, friends, you'll have the same satisfying taste experience the very first time you spread parquet margarine on bread, toast, rolls, pancakes, and waffles. I'm sure you'll agree with the millions who prefer parquet margarine, that it's still unmatched for flavor. And it costs so little to enjoy parquet. Only about half the price of costly spreads. That's Parkay, parquet margarine, made by the Kraft Foods Company. Now let's get back to the Great Gildersleeve. With a blonde on one arm, a buffalo robe over the other, and a brand new bucket hat perched on his head, Gildersleeve looks the complete American college boy, 20 years out of college. We join him now as he and Leila Ransom stroll past the State University campus toward the stadium where the big game is soon to begin.
Aren't we having fun, Throckmorton?
Yeah, you bet.
You know something? Walking around a college town like this makes me feel like I'm 18 again.
Oh, you look 18, Leila. And I'll tell you something else. I don't feel a day over 22. Let's skip, I dare you.
Oh, Throckmorton, with all these boys and girls going by.
What do we care? Come on, let's skip.
It's Marjorie and Marshall Bullitt.
Well.
I saw you up ahead there, Unky. Hello, Mrs. Ransom. You remember Marshall, don't you?
Indeed, I do. It's nice you could come home for the holiday, Marshall.
Thanks. How are you, Mrs. Ransom? Mr. Gildersleeve?
Just fine, my boy.
Unky, where did you get that bucket hat?
This hat? Well, I got it at the Summerfield men's toggery. What's the matter with it?
Oh, nothing. It just looks kind of collegiate.
That's not what the college men are wearing this year, Mr. Gildersleeve.
That's immaterial to me, son. I needed a hat in case of rain.
Well, I think he looks very cute in it. Although if you pulled it a little farther forward.
Like this?
It was better the other way.
It's nuts.
Marshall, I do believe you've grown just in the few months you've been away.
Put on 15 pounds. Been playing a little football.
Oh, speaking of football, shouldn't we be...
You seem to be in such a hurry, Throckmorton. Why don't we all go somewhere and have a bite to eat first?
Well, Marjorie and I are going over to the Beta Newhouse for lunch. That's my father's fraternity.
Well, you kids go on and have lunch. Maybe we'll see you at the game.
Look for us, Unky. Marshall got seats right on the 50-yard line.
The 50? Well, we're not far from there. See you later.
Bye. I wish we didn't have to sit way down by the goal line, Throckmorton.
Well, I'll see what I can do. But it's pretty late. I wonder how that Bullard kid got seats on the 50.
I suppose he got them through his father.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, by George, I'll go to the box office and tell them who I am. Don't worry, Leela. We'll wind up with the best seats in the place. Pardon me, madam. I'd like to exchange these seats, please. They're in the section 32. I'd like something on the 50-yard line. Yes, very funny. Perhaps you didn't understand me. I want to exchange these tickets for a pair on the 50-yard line.
Oh, run along, buddy. Nothing doing.
Wait a minute. It just so happens I'm a public official. I'm the water commissioner down in Summerfield.
Water? I hear it's good to wash in.
Don't get smart. Are you going to sell me tickets or not?
Look, we've been sold out since the 10th of September. Now beat it.
Then why are you open?
For next year.
Oh! Wise guy ought to report it. Why don't you look where you're going?
Say, buddy, you really want two and a 50 like you said?
I sure do. Have you got two?
Not so loud.
Oh?
50-yard line, 35th row. And, seeing it's so late, well, I'll let you have them for $20 apiece.
Why, that's robbery.
$20 apiece? Pardon me, mister. I thought you were a big shot.
Oh, I am. Here, give me the tickets. Being a big shot is kind of expensive.
Look, honey, the band down there on the field. They're getting ready to spell out something.
Say, look at those uniforms. Welcome, Aggies. Pretty clever.
Throckmorton, aren't we having fun?
You bet. Why don't the teams quit practicing? They've been practicing all season. Let's start the game.
Oh, let me see the program for a minute, Throckmorton. My, look at this picture of the state captain. Isn't he handsome?
Tom Lingenfeller. Certainly looks dumb.
Oh, but look at those shoulders. My.
Probably wearing shoulder pads. I'll tell you something else. A lot of these football players aren't as strong as they look. The Army had to reject a whole flock of them.
I suppose so. But, of course, a girl looks at these things a little differently from the Army. There's Marshall.
Marshall where?
Down there, just 2 rows in front of us.
Hi there.
Oh, why, he's got his arm around Marjorie. Hey there, what do you think you're doing?
Throckmorton.
Cut that out, young man. I'm watching you. And don't grin at me like that.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Throckmorton. What harm is there in the boy putting his arm around in a public place like this?
Don't tell me it feels just the same in public as it does anyplace else.
Does it really?
You know darn well it does.
Mercy, how would I know?
There, how's that? Marjorie, turn around and watch the game. Third down. This time it looks like they're going to try a pass.
How can you tell, Throckmorton?
By the formation. When one fellow stands back like that.
Was that a pass?
No, it was a punt. They should have passed, though. If they keep punting all afternoon, I don't know how they expect to score.
Is it still 0-0?
Certainly. There they go. Oh, an in run. stopped him dead in his tracks. That fellow couldn't run around a mailbox.
Oh, what's that whistle for, Throckmorton?
Just stalling for time. Come on, quit stalling down there and play football.
Throckmorton, people are looking at
Let them look.
They're not stalling, mister. Al Stample broke his leg on that last play.
Oh.
Oh, isn't that awful? Look, they're carrying him off. The poor boy.
Stample must have been in bad condition. I told you these football players weren't so husky. Hey, you cold, Leela?
I'm perfectly comfortable, thank you.
That's funny. I'm cold.
Well, to tell you the truth, every time you start to hold my hand, Marshal Bullard turns around and laughs at me.
Oh, he does, eh? That young smart
Now,
aleck.
Throckmorton, he's just a child. Although I must say he seems much better looking than when he went away. Don't you think he is?
I'm watching the game, Leela.
Oh.
2nd and 10. Maybe they'll try a pass this time. Through the line.
How can you tell, Throckmorton? I couldn't see a thing on that play.
When everybody falls down, it's a line play. He gained about a foot.
Well, he tried anyhow, and that's what counts.
Never make a touchdown that way, Leela. Now I suppose they'll kick again. There they go. Kick the ball back and forth. After you, my dear Alphonse. After you, my dear Gaston. Why, George, if we don't get some action pretty soon, Leela, I'll go down and complain at the box office. All afternoon they've been playing, and nobody's even tried.
And once again, the ball changed hands in this nip and tuck battle between State University and the Aggies.
Oh, boy.
Believe you me, folks, both these teams are playing heads-up football out here this afternoon.
What a game.
They're lining up again now. State's ball on their own 40-yard line, T formation.
Come on, State. Let's get a touchdown this time.
The ball was snapped to Captain Tom Lingenfeller. He gets the ball and...
Come on, Lingenfeller.
Lingenfeller fades back, takes a ladder to the left, plunges for the hole between right guard and right tackle. He's through. He's away. No. A beautiful tackle came right through and stopped him cold. I tell you, folks, you've never seen football like we're seeing today at Fireman's Field.
Did you hear that, Bertie? Lingenfeller almost got away, but they stopped him cold.
Is that a fact?
Yeah. You want to listen a while, Bertie?
No, thank you, Leroy. You hear your uncle saying anything?
Not yet.
Now it's 4th and 6 for State. Falling back into punt formation. Crowds in the stands are tense as Tom Lingenfeller opens his hands for the ball. He's got it. He kicks.
Back and forth. Nothing happens.
Well, I think it's very exciting, Throckmorton, for a football game. What do you expect?
A pass once in a while. Ye gods, I've only tried about 3 and none completed. Hey, Lingenfeller, why don't you try an aerial attack?
Why don't you drop dead?
Oh? Who said that?
I said it.
Oh, you.
Yes, me. These boys are playing swell football, and they don't need any advice from you.
Just a suggestion. Tourist. I paid for my seat, didn't I? I should think that would entitle me to make... Now what? Nothing. You know, Lita, looks like it might rain.
I don't think so, Throckmorton. How can you think such a thing when we're having so much fun?
I don't really think it'll rain. I don't think anything at all is going to happen here this afternoon.
Oh, Throckmorton, honey, I dropped one of my gloves just now. Do you see it anywhere?
Glove? No. Must be down under the seat.
Would you mind looking down there for it? My hands are cold.
Well, if your hands are cold...
Later, darling. But find the glove now for me like a sweet boy, won't you?
Oh, well. Old peanut shells down here. Chewing gum. See? Neil, what happened?
Come on, Lingenfeller! Come on, Tom! Come on!
Oh, you're jumping up and down on my fingers.
Throckmorton, are you still down there?
Here's your glove. What was all that racket?
Somebody threw a pass and Lingenfeller caught it and made a touchdown.
A touchdown? Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I was too excited, Throckmorton, and it all happened so quickly.
The only play of the afternoon.
Oh, Unky, wasn't that a beautiful pass?
Oh, yeah, scrumptious.
Throckmorton.
What's the matter?
I felt a drop of rain just then.
Rain, you couldn't have. So did I. It's a cloudburst. What'll we do, Leela?
Maybe it'll stop in a minute. I'll stay if you will, Throckmorton.
Well, I had a slight cold yesterday, and why don't we give up and go home?
I must say, I thought you were more of a sport.
Well, I'm not a sport. Come on, let's get out of here. Pardon me.
What's the matter, mister? No school spirit?
Oh, fool yourself. Soaking wet. Bucket hat. Bucket is right.
Evening, Mr. Gildersleeve. Did you have a nice time at the game?
Don't speak of it, Bertie. Don't speak of it.
Well, it's too bad it had to rain. Maybe a little supper will make you feel better.
I even feel like eating. I had a couple of sandwiches half an hour ago.
Well, I'll dish it up anyway.
Unc, is that you? Wasn't the game super, Unc?
Super? What game are you talking about, young man?
The State Aggies game, the one you saw. I heard it on the radio. It sure was super.
How do they do it?
Say, Unc, I've decided what I want for a reward for missing it.
Oh, all right, my boy. What is it?
Take me to the state game next Saturday.
Oh, Leroy, anything but that.
The Great Gildersleeve will be dropping in at Peavy's drugstore in just a few moments. How are you getting along with your food budget these days? Are your meals pretty expensive? Well, maybe I can give you a little help. There's a very important food you serve at every meal that certainly shouldn't be expensive. And that's the spread you serve with bread, toast, and rolls. Of course, the spread I have in mind is delicious parquet margarine, preferred by millions of families throughout America because it tastes so good. And as for economy, well, it's plain as the price tag in your dealer's store that parquet is only about half the price of costly spreads. And parquet margarine is so nourishing, too. It's one of the finest of all energy foods, and it's fortified with important vitamin A. So for a real value in a quality food that's still unmatched for flavor, buy Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y, Parquet margarine, made by Kraft.
Peavy, are you fond of football?
Football, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yes. Do you like the game?
You mean, do I like to play it?
No. Do you like to watch it? Are you a fan?
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve, I'll tell you how it is about me and football. When I was a young fellow, I lived in Worcester, Massachusetts one year. That fall, I took it into my head to go to the Harvard Yale game down at Cambridge.
Is all this necessary?
Well, you asked me a question.
I didn't realize you'd have to answer by the way of Worcester, Massachusetts.
Well, if you don't want me to tell you.
No, go ahead, Peavy. You never give a straight answer to a question anyway.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Go ahead.
Well, I've lost the thread now. Why did you want to know if I like football in the first place?
Well, I thought if you did, you might enjoy taking Leroy to the state game next Saturday, if I could get the tickets.
Yeah, so that's it. Mr. Gildersleeve, I am fond of football, but I'm not that fond of it.
I might have known you'd be of no use to me. Good night, Peavy. Good night, everybody.
This is John Lang speaking for the Kraft Foods Company and inviting you to listen in again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Another fine Kraft food product you'll want to add to your shopping list is Kraft Salad Mustard. This creamy golden Kraft salad mustard puts an extra tempting tang into relishes and sandwich spreads, peps up the flavor of deviled eggs, adds extra zest to cheese and meat dishes. And if you like an extra tingle of sharpness, there's another delicious variety in the Kraft line. It's the Kraft mustard with nippy horseradish added. Buy both kinds and please the whole family. Ask for Kraft mustards when you shop tomorrow.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at ChestertonRadio.com.
Leroy! Where is that boy?
Oh, he's across the street, Bertie, with Mr. Bullard's little niece, Brenda.
Is he still over there? Wait till Mr. Gildersleeve gets home. He's going to have something to say about that. He sure is.
Tonight, in the fifth of a new fall and winter series of Wednesday evening broadcasts, the Kraft Foods Company presents Willard Waterman as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of Parquet margarine and all those other wonderful Kraft quality foods. The big reason millions prefer Parquet margarine to any other spread is that it tastes so good. And it tastes so good because it's always so fresh. But there are other reasons as well. For instance, if you live in a state where colored margarine is sold, there's the convenience and extra protection of Yellow Parquet's new Flavor Saver package. Yes, each golden quarter pound is individually wrapped in a new Flavor Saver aluminum foil, so easy to handle, already colored, ready to serve. And all the freshness and flavor are sealed in, staleness and odors sealed out. Elsewhere, you get that same superb Parquet flavor and freshness in the handy Color Quick bag or regular Parquet package. So find out for yourself why so many prefer this superb margarine to any other. Ask your grocer for Parkay, Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Get some tomorrow. Well, the Great Gildersleeve has just been appointed chairman of the Summerfield Community Chest Drive. The first thing he did about the drive was to drive home and tell his little family about it.
Oh, Unky, I'm so proud of you.
Well, Marjorie, I'm a little proud of myself.
They sure picked a good man when they picked you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Thank you, Bertie.
Why did they pick you, Unky?
What?
Well, why did they select you to head the community chest?
Well, because I've got the biggest chest in the community.
Oh, Unky. What have you planned for the campaign?
The first thing I'm in charge of is the kids' football game Saturday afternoon. We've got the two best junior teams in the city.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, we expect to make a lot of money for the community chest.
Is little Leroy going to play?
Leroy? With those feet?
Oh, poor Unky. For years he's hoped Leroy would be a football player.
Yes, but that's hoping too much. Leroy will never be an athlete. He can't run 10 yards without tripping over his own shoestrings.
Now, Unky, Leroy tries.
By the way, where is the boy?
He's across the street with Mr. Bullard's pretty little niece.
Hey, Brenda?
Uh-huh. You can see him here from the window sitting on Mr. Bullard's steps. Aren't they cute?
Cute. What a way for a boy to spend his time.
Look at him hang his head and giggle. That little Brenda sure has a way with Leroy.
He should be out practicing football.
When she flutters them big peepers at him, all he does is giggle.
Yeah, I know, Bertie.
Yes. They was over here this afternoon eating donuts, and she was fluttering them peepers at him through the holes.
You what?
All Leroy did was giggle. Now they're sitting over there, and all he's doing is giggling.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, Bertie.
Miss Gildersleeve, you know all Leroy does when he gets with that little girl?
Yes, Bertie.
That's right. All he does is giggle.
Well, I'll go get Laughing Boy and bring him home to dinner.
Really, Leroy? I think you're just marvelous. If anybody told me I'd be sitting by anybody as important as you are, well, I just never would have believed it. Leroy. Yeah? You're my hero.
Leroy! Well, they don't even hear me. Leroy!
What? Oh, Unc, I didn't hear you.
I know.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Brenda.
I didn't see you standing there.
Well, I wasn't eavesdropping. I just came over to tell Leroy it's time for dinner.
Mr. Gildersleeve, isn't Leroy dreamy?
Leroy? Dreamy?
He's my hero.
Well, I'm glad you like him. But isn't the hero part going a little too far?
What's so far about that?
Well...
I mean every word of it, Mr. Gildersleeve. I've been in a swoon since he told me he's playing in the game tomorrow.
Well, fine. Now come along, Leroy. Leroy's playing in the game tomorrow?
Isn't that dreamy?
Yes, dreamy. Well, little Leroy.
Keen, Honk.
You didn't tell me, my boy.
Well, gosh, the coach just told me this afternoon. I'm playing quarterback.
Quarterback?
Yeah, the brains.
Well, Leroy, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You're just the boy to run the team. You're a natural-born quarterback.
Yeah.
Leroy.
Yeah, Unc?
You weren't the only one out for quarterback, were you?
Heck no. I beat out Clyde Cooper. I had the brains.
And the brawn, too.
Well, let's be sure about the brawn. Bertie, throw on another steak. We've got a football player in the family.
Would you like some more potatoes and gravy, Leroy?
Sure.
Here's the raisin bread again, my boy. Eat a lot of it. Raisins have iron. That's what a football player needs.
There's one more piece of steak. Who wants it?
You make room on your plate, Leroy.
Bertie, get him another glass of milk, please.
Gosh, stop fussing over me. I can't see over my plate now.
But you surprised us so, didn't he, Unky?
Well, I knew Leroy had it in him all the time.
Yes, sir. We just didn't know where it was hid.
Oh, what a day it's going to be. I can see the stands now. Crowded. At $1 a head for the community chest. And little Leroy runs out on the field.
Yeah.
And Brenda waving to him from the sideline.
Now, listen, Leroy. If you win the toss, be sure to receive the kickoff. Possession of the ball is very important.
The other team will never get their hands on it. I'll razzle-dazzle them to death.
Yeah, the boy. I can't wait to tell Peavy and the Jolly Boys. Hey, by the way, Leroy, what formation are you using? The T or the single wingback?
I'm just using Leroy back.
What?
Then everybody else goes out for a pass. Wait, I'll show you with a hard roll.
Not at the table, Leroy.
Unc, you and Bertie run out for a pass.
Leroy, don't you throw that hard roll at me.
Oh, you're just a decoy. Get ready, Unc.
Yeah, all right, my boy. I'm open.
Here it comes, a spot pass.
Oop, right in the gravy. Spots all over me.
Leroy, now look what you've done.
Leroy, how many times has Uncle Mort told you not to play at the table?
Well, I guess I better go to my room, Unc.
Oh, of course not, my boy. It was all my fault.
It was?
Yeah, I should have scooped it up before it hit the gravy. Oh, you're a fine passer and a wonderful boy.
Holy cow. When you're an athlete, you can get by with this?
Morning, Peavy.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this morning?
Peavy, you can give me $1.
How's that?
For the community chess football game tomorrow.
Oh, you don't say.
After you give me $1, I'll give you a red feather. Just like the one I have in my hat.
Oh, that explains your feather. I thought you'd been where the wild goose went.
What's this, Peavy?
You know the song. My heart goes where the wild goose goes.
Yes,
and I must
Peavy.
go where the wild goose goes.
Yeah, all right, Peavy.
Wild goose, brother goose, which is best? A wandering fool or a heart at rest?
Oh, Peavy, stop.
I will. I'm out of breath.
Peavy, you're too chipper this morning. What happened?
No, nothing's happened. Mrs. Peavy left this morning to spend a week with her mother, but nothing's happened.
Sure. Well, I'm happy today, too, Peavy. Now, I'll tell you why you shouldn't miss the game. Well, here's another customer.
That's no customer. That's Judge Hooker.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello, Judge. You're just the man I want to see.
Oh? Why the feather in your hat, Gilda? Has the water commissioner been dressing poultry?
Judge, you know very well why it's there.
Yes, I do. Congratulations on being chairman of the drive, Gilda.
Thanks. Now, all I want from you is $1.
You're heading a very worthy cause. As the slogan goes, everybody benefits, Everybody gives.
Yeah, that's true. But, Judge, just give me...
Red Feather Services provide the health, welfare, and recreational facilities the community needs to make it a better place in which to live.
You're doing a lot of talking to get out of paying $1.
What's that, Peavy?
Judge, I'm selling tickets to the community chess football game tomorrow. $1.
Well, I've made my pledge, but I'll take a ticket.
Thank you, Peavy.
Well, I made my pledge also, but I'll take 2 tickets. I can take Miss Matterhorn in my new car.
Great. This is a game I don't want anybody to miss. Because here's the big news, fellows.
Big news?
Yeah, the most important thing that ever happened. Little Leroy is going to play in that game.
He is?
Well, good for him.
Just imagine, Leroy on the gridiron.
Yep. He's playing quarterback.
Well, we'll all have to go out and cheer for Leroy.
Say, I have an idea. Instead of just cheering, let's take our Jolly Boys band out to support Leroy's team.
You call that support?
It's a good idea, Horace. As chairman of the drive and president of the Jolly Boys, with the boys starring on the team, I call a special meeting for this evening for band practice.
I'll be there.
Anything for Leroy.
He's quite a boy.
Peavy, I thought you had trouble getting out on weeknight.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm as free as the wild goose. My heart goes for
All right, Peavy. See you tonight. Leroy, Marjorie, Bertie, I'm home.
Oh, hello, Uncle Mort.
Hello, Marjorie, my dear. Where's Leroy?
I think he's upstairs.
Oh, give this to Bertie.
That big package for Bertie?
No, Bertie, it's for Leroy.
Oh, a football, Unky?
Nope, more steak.
Yes.
I think I'll go up and have a little skull practice with the quarterback, Marjorie.
Oh, you just can't wait for tomorrow, can you, Unky?
Yeah, I can't wait for the next few years either. Someday, Marjorie, we'll be going to college football games to watch Leroy Snake Hips Forrester.
You're awfully proud of Leroy, aren't you?
You bet. I'm proud of you, too, my dear. But, of course, you're not a football player. See you later, Marjorie. Don't hear anything up here. I guess the little fellow's figuring out plays. Leroy?
Yeah?
May I come in, my boy? I'm a scout for the Green Bay Packers.
You can come in if you want to.
What are you doing? Brewing up bad medicine for the opposition?
No, just sitting.
Resting, huh? Good. Hey, by the way, I brought home some more steak for your dinner.
You and Bronco can eat it, Unc.
What?
I'm not hungry.
Guess you're excited about the game. Better eat, though. You got to be strong to make those touchdowns.
I'm not going to make any touchdowns.
You're not? Leroy.
I'm not going to play.
Teasing your old uncle, huh, Leroy?
No, I'm not going to play. Clyde Cooper's going to be quarterback.
Clyde? Leroy, yesterday you had the job.
Well...
What happened?
Well, gosh, I got a little cold, I think.
Leroy, you don't have a cold. You've never been healthier.
Well, I sprained my ankle.
Your ankle? Which one?
Both of them.
Oh. Leroy, you're making up excuses. You have to play tomorrow. I bragged to all the Jolly Boys. I told all the Jolly Boys you were going to star. And I'm chairman of the community chest, in charge of the game. What are people going to say?
Sorry, Unc. But I told you why I can't play.
Those weren't very good excuses.
They weren't, huh?
No. Now tell me why you aren't going to play.
Well, I got to look at the other team, Hunk. Gosh, they're pretty big guys.
Oh. So that's it. Leroy.
Yeah?
Those boys are the same age as you. What about Clyde? He isn't as big as you, is he?
No, but...
All right, my boy. Get ready for dinner.
I'm not hungry.
Miss Gildersleeve, dinner's ready.
I'm not hungry either.
The
Great Gildersleeve returns in just a moment. It's fresh.
Fresh.
Really fresh.
Fresh.
Always fresh.
Fresh.
That's why it tastes so good. It's Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Every woman knows how important it is to keep food fresh, really fresh. For if even the finest food loses freshness, it loses savor. And that's why so many millions of women always buy Parquet margarine. They know it's the margarine that's fresh, really fresh, always fresh. Yes, Kraft Freshness Control protects Parquet margarine right to your home. Parquet is made fresh from top-grade products of American farms, rushed fresh to the store in refrigerated trucks, sold fresh by your grocer. Every pound of Parquet margarine is flavor dated, and grocer stocks are inspected regularly by Kraft men. That's why Kraft can absolutely guarantee to you that no matter where you buy or when you buy Parquet margarine, it will be fresh.
Fresh.
Really fresh.
Fresh.
Always fresh.
Fresh.
That's Parkay. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Get some tomorrow. The Great Gildersleeve heard that his nephew Leroy was going to play quarterback in the community chess football game. He was the happiest man in Summerfield. But then when Leroy suddenly changed his mind and decided not to play, the great man's spirits crumbled. Now it's evening, and the water commissioner is heading for the meeting at the Jolly Boys Club.
Jolly boys are already tuning up to salute Leroy tomorrow when he runs on the field. How'll I explain it to them? I can't tell them Leroy backed out. Well, I can just tell them he decided not to be an athlete. He's going to be a scholar. No, they'll never believe that.
Hi, Commish. Come on in.
Hello, Floyd. Hi, fellows.
Come on, Gildy. We're all warmed up. Here's your trombone.
Just a minute, fellows. Before we waste our time
Hey,
practicing...
since the chief ain't here, why don't I just concentrate on the drums tonight?
But, Floyd, what about the piano?
It's a cinch I ain't dragging no piano out to the field tomorrow.
Fellows, perhaps we shouldn't take any of the instruments.
Well, I'm taking my flute.
What's the matter, Commish? Don't you think you're professional enough? I carry a union card.
Barber's Union.
Gildy, why shouldn't we take our instruments?
Well, you don't have to do this for Leroy.
We want to do it, Commish.
Well, we're happy to do it.
We're proud of the kid. And you must be, too, Commish.
Yes.
Gentlemen, shall we show our old friend what we've got for little Leroy?
What's this, Judge?
Well, we were going to save it and present it official after the game, you know. But what the heck? Hold it out, Peeve.
Yeah, look at this, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, a loving cup with a football player.
Gold filled, that's what makes it yellow.
I know, Pete. Fellas, you shouldn't have done it. Believe me.
Read the engraving, Gildy.
Well, let me see.
The commission's choking up. Let me read it. To Leroy Forrester for quarterbacking the community chess football game.
Nice, Floyd.
We just said something about you being chess chairman, but the engraving was getting pretty expensive.
Well, gentlemen, let's practice our number for Leroy.
What can I say to them?
Come on, Commish. We picked on Wisconsin because that's the dairy state and Leroy's the big cheese.
I'm ready with my flute.
My violin's rising up.
You want to test the trombone, Commish?
Oh, I can't even get a lip.
You never played better.
Here we go, gang. Just pretend Leroy's taking the field. 1, 2.
Sounded like Leroy ran through all the instruments.
I suggest that the drum and trombone take the opening passage, then Peavy and I will come in with violin and flute.
Fellows, let's call the whole thing off.
Oh, we'll get better. Pick up where we left off.
Where'd we leave off?
Here we go. 1, 2.
we're improving.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Uncle Mort, you mean the Jolly Boys brought Leroy a trophy?
Yep. An engraved loving cup. Gold-filled. After that, how could I tell him Leroy had backed out?
Oh, poor Unky. No wonder you couldn't sleep last night.
Well, I'm through talking to the boy. If he wants to let that skinny little Clyde Cooper take his place at quarterback, that's up to him.
Bronco and I tried to talk to him, but he just shrugged and walked away.
Oh? Where'd he go?
I know where he went.
What's this, Bertie?
That poor little boy went up in his treehouse.
He did?
That poor little boy.
Ofer. What's he doing up in his treehouse?
He's just sitting. He won't talk to nobody. That poor little boy.
Now, Bertie, don't feel sorry for Leroy. I'm not. He brought this on himself. I don't care whether he plays or not.
He ain't even paying no attention to little Brenda.
Brenda? Where's she?
She just standing across the street flooding them eyes, but he just sitting up in his treehouse. That poor little boy.
Well, I guess Brenda will be as disappointed in Leroy as the rest of us. Say, there's an idea. If there's anybody who can make a man play ball, it's a woman. Why didn't I think of this before? He's up in his treehouse, Brenda. You have to get him to play in that game this afternoon.
Oh, I'll just die if he doesn't play. After all, what's there to live for?
Leroy! I guess you better call him.
Leroy. Leroy, it's me, Brenda.
What do you want?
I want you to come down and talk to me.
I don't want to.
Oop. Pour it on, Brenda.
Leroy, if you play today, I'll come and cheer for you. Because you're my hero.
That should get him.
Hero Schmiro, go away.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, Mr. Leroy Forrester, I most certainly will go away.
Here, Brenda. Leroy. Oh, it's a lost cause.
My, the stadium is almost full.
Hey, gang, here's the commish now.
Well, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, fellas.
You're late.
Not as late as I'd like to be.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. Huge crowd. You should be very happy.
Yeah, very happy.
Hey, commish, I checked the starting lineup, and Leroy's name ain't there.
It isn't? Well, Floyd.
Well, if Leroy doesn't appear, I refuse to play.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to hear a violin in a stadium anyway.
Hey, here comes the starting team. Leroy ain't with them.
Gildy, what happened?
Well, excuse me, fellas. I think somebody's waving for my attention down below. I'm chairman, you know.
I don't see anybody waving.
See you later, fellas.
Well, get Leroy in the game. We blew $2 apiece on that cup.
Sorry, Floyd. I had to get away from the Jolly Boys. Somehow I can't believe little Leroy's afraid to play. Never been afraid of anything before. He's always wanted to play football. I think I'll sit down here and hide. Pardon me. Is this seat taken?
Well, no, sit down. You're just in time for the kickoff.
Yeah, I know.
Say, aren't you Mr. Gildersleeve, chairman of the community chess drive?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, great outfit, the community chest.
Yeah?
You want somebody to tell people what the chest does? Ask me, I'll tell them.
Well, good.
See that boy running out on the field? Number 22? That's my son.
Oh?
2 years ago, he couldn't walk. Look at him now. Community chess did that.
He looks fine.
Playing in this game is the biggest moment in my boy's life. This is his chance to show everybody that he's well again, that he's come back.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I wish I had a boy like that. Brave little fellow.
He almost didn't get to play today.
Well, that would have been terrible.
The coach told me about it. Another boy was ahead of him, and it looked like Clyde wasn't going to get in the game.
Clyde?
And the other boy found out how important it was to Clyde to play today, so he stepped out to give Clyde the chance. The boy's name was Leroy Forrester. Oh, he did a great thing.
Leroy?
Oh, you know him?
Yeah. Yeah, I know him. Little Leroy.
Hey, there's the kickoff. Clyde's taking the ball, Gildersleeve.
He is? Come on, Clyde! Run, boy, run!
The Great Gildersleeve will be right back. When you buy margarine, get the margarine that tastes so good because it's fresh, really fresh, always fresh. Get Parquet margarine made by Kraft. In states where the law permits, get yellow Parquet in its new aluminum foil Flavor Saver wrap. Elsewhere, get Parquet in the handy Color Quick bag or regular package. In any state, in any package, it's the margarine that tastes so good because it's always fresh. Get Parkay, Parquet margarine made by Kraft.
Pardon me. Excuse me, madam. Coming through. Lady, watch that umbrella. Leroy! Leroy, I'm over here.
Hi, Unc.
Oh, it was a fine game, my boy. We took in $2,300 for the community chest. It was a big success.
Yeah.
And I want to say, too, I'm proud of you, mighty proud of you, my boy.
Me? I wasn't even in the game.
Floyd, here's Leroy. Oh. Gildy, we've been talking to Clyde Cooper's father.
Yeah, if you ask me, Leroy deserves more than an 11 cup. He ought to have a medal.
I agree, Floyd.
The hero of a football game should always be carried from the stadium on somebody's shoulders. I'm going to carry Leroy on mine.
The heck you are. I'm carrying Leroy on my shoulders.
Now, just a minute, fella. Just a minute. Well, this is up to Leroy. Whose shoulders do you want to ride on, my boy?
Yours, Unc.
Bless that boy. Go on side, fellas. We're coming through.
The Great Gildersleeve is played by Willard Waterman. The show is written by Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White, with music by Robert Armbruster. Included in the cast are Walter Tetley, Mary Lee Robb, Lillian Randolph, Arthur Q. Bryan, Barbara Whiting, Earl Ross, and Richard LeGrand. This is John Heaston saying goodnight for the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous line of Kraft quality food products. Be sure to listen in next Wednesday and every Wednesday for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
Here's a quick, pleasant way to make leftovers more delicious. Just add a little Kraft prepared mustard and you'll add a lot of tang. Hidden flavors in boiled ham, sausage, most any meat pop right out. Every bite tastes better. Now you can get two kinds of Kraft mustard. Salad mustard, delicately spiced for those who prefer a milder flavor, and Kraft mustard with snappy horseradish added. Have both kinds in your pantry. Then with every meat dish, hot or cold, just add a little mustard, and you'll add a lot of tang. Kraft prepared mustard.
For a half hour of spine-tingling excitement, listen next Sunday afternoon to The Falcon over this station. Check your newspaper for time of broadcast and tune in when The Falcon solves the case of the unnecessary knife.
Next, Groucho Marx makes his debut. 3 chimes mean good time.
This is Chesterton Radio, the true, good, and beautiful at ChestertonRadio.com.